It's August 4th, about 7:45. I think it's about 88 degrees. I'm now about 45 yards from where I filmed Turkey Foot the other day. I'm going to try to get in a little closer today and see if I can't do a better job of getting some video of him. If it works, it'll be magnificent. Probably won't work though. I would point out that my cushion is sitting on an ant nest next to this pine tree, and I might get ants coming up my back, which could foil the whole thing, but it's the way it goes. But we have been getting daytime pictures of two different big ones here, Turkey Foot and another buck that's very impressive. I hope he shows up. In the meantime, I'm going to hunker down by this pine tree. I mean, what kind of a guy goes out August 4th, nearly 90 degrees, see if he can get some video? Well, that'd be me. See if I can't get a little video to share with you guys. Hope it happens this evening. Turn the camera off, turn it around. Let's see what happens. Quickly.
This is not the 12 point I was hoping to find this particular afternoon, but he's a nice consolation prize. We call this buck Squiggly because of the way his main beams grow. I think he's a 6-year-old, though he may only be 5. I only started noticing him last year, but I think he was too big last year to be a 3-year-old. I was lucky enough to find one of his sheds from last year, and using a little bit of extrapolation, I scored him in the mid to upper 190s. He had tremendous mass that I speculate was over 43 inches. I'm not quite sure he's as big this year as he was last year, though he still has the better part of a month to grow after this particular video is taken. We've not gotten any more trail cam pictures of him. He hadn't been seen since then, so I don't know how he filled out. That considered, he was also only seen one time live all last season, when my farm manager happened to drive up on him in a field with a bunch of does during the middle of a rut. Notice how nervous he's behaving and keeps looking past me and dancing around like that. That's because 2 coyotes came trotting by me just about the same time he stepped out. They couldn't have come by more than 10-15 yards by me, so he's looking more or less right at where I am, or certainly right beside me. I couldn't video the coyotes because, frankly, I couldn't move for fear of busting him instead. And certainly, and obviously, he was the target. He stayed on red alert just about the entire time that he was out. An interesting thing about that unique antler configuration is that there's another buck out there that's 1 or 2 years younger than him with much the same shape. Also, several years ago, one of the best bucks I've ever grown and taken had the exact same feature, that main beam kind of pointing out like that and kind of have a little squiggle to it. That particular buck was a 202-inch beautiful 10 point. Was it the same daddy? Was it the same mama? Who knows how the genetics work? I'm unsure, but what I do know is that nutrition helps grow bucks like this. Notice the sun hemp growing in the background. That's an old 5-acre clover field that kind of got worn out, so I'm renovating it this summer. I limed it, and I planted a heavy dose of sun hemp along with buckwheat in there to amp up the organic matter and fix some nitrogen into the soil and just overall kind of refurbish the field. I'll come back this fall and plant it in Durana and red clover and some wheat along with a little bit of chicory and get it reestablished back into a clover field. Interestingly though, almost every picture we've ever gotten of this buck has been in the same field of joint vetch. I'll say it one more time. I like vetch. it grows big bucks. Now Squiggly here has been running with a bachelor group of 6 to 8 bucks all summer. So when the second buck stepped out, I was hopeful for a moment that the entire squad would come out. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. If you look there side by side, you can kind of see the age difference between the two bucks. I suggest that Squiggly is at least 1, maybe 2 years older than this guy right here. The 10-point that I was talking about that had many of the same features that I took several years ago weighed 270 pounds on the hoof. So just looking at Squiggly there, I don't know what he weighs, but it's safe to assume that he's over 225 pounds and could be much bigger than that. So number 2 buck came out, and they weren't out very long haul together before they started to get nervous, and I had looked down, turned the camera off, looked down for a moment, and the next thing I know, when I look up, off they go. So that was my 1 hour sit in the blazing heat that particular day.
August the 11th. I am absolutely drenched in sweat. Heat advisory for the last week. But here I am nestled up about 45 yards away from where the big typical 12's been coming out. We just roller crimped the sun hemp field behind him, so I saw some of the deer in there the other day. So I'm going to sit here one more time, see if I can't get some video of the big 12 a little closer than I was last time. We'll see how it goes. It's hot.
I threw that last clip in seeking a little understanding. I didn't see a deer that particular afternoon, and not seeing a deer was far more common than the few times I did get a little video. So the following clip that you're going to see is the last time I went out. I sat in a blind with a few million mosquitoes in near 100-degree heat to get the following clip.
It rained 10 inches this morning, so I decided not to go sit on my camo on a tree or anything else. I'm up in a blind on the right of way. This is where I actually shot one of my better bucks of my whole life down this right of way right here. It's a good spot. So these 3 guys came out pretty early. We'll look and see if anything else comes out. Youngster. Look how timid he is, afraid something else will come out and exert their dominance over him. Yep, into the feeder. Got to keep an eye around now. Mosquitoes are getting really bad. Yep, looks like it's the youngster parade here. There's number 2, number 1, number 2. 2-year-old maybe. Not very old, but.
This concludes part 2 of summer velvet footage here at the farm. As is usually the case, there were far more bucks that I've chased that I never saw than ones I was able to capture. But it's September now, and the bucks have shed their velvet, and I'm out busy preparing fall food plots. So as this youngster works his way around to the feeder and goes to stick his nose up in the protein, stay tuned for more videos from farm and ranch life.